Welcome everyone to this.
Hi Leute, heute zeige ich euch 3 Menschen, die sich für Tiere halten. Wir fangen an mit einem traurigen Fall, wo ein Mädchen draußen vergessen wurde und sie quasi von Hunden aufgezogen wurde.
Episode of FTD News in History. This is where we take a look back in history and document some of the most shocking, bizarre, and very creepy stories that have happened over time. And now this one really blew my mind. Like, I remember studying about feral children in psychology class, and we know characters like Tarzan and Mowgli from the Jungle Book, but this footage was just shocking to me. This girl, her name is Oksana Malaya from Ukraine. She was considered by many as a feral child. Why? Because she was raised by dogs. And this is her story. Oksana had become the main focus of many documentaries, interviews, headlines, and she was internationally known for her dog-imitating behavior. When Oksana was 3 years old, there weren't enough beds in the home of her alcoholic parents, and when they forgot her outside one night to keep warm, she cuddled up in the kennel with wild dogs out back. Apparently, no one even came to look for her or even noticed that she was gone. She ended up staying where they were to keep warm and share in their food. And by food, I mean she was eating scraps and raw meat. And during that time, she completely forgot what it was to be a human. She lost all of the little language that she had learned as a toddler and began learning how to survive in a pack of dogs. Oksana was raised by those dogs until she was 8 years old, and that's when a neighbor reported a child living with wild animals to the police. When she was found, she could not talk, she lacked many basic skills, and physically behaved like a dog. She ran on all fours, she barked, she slept on the floor, she ate like a dog, and she took care of her hygiene just like a dog, using her tongue. She did not know what a mirror was, and she showed no recognition that the reflected image in the mirror was herself. This lack of self-awareness makes her, in some respects, more like an animal than a human. It's reported that she did see humans from afar and occasionally went into her family home like any stray dog would. But to Oksana, her real family was not her human family at all. I can't even imagine what would be going through somebody's mind like that. You're a child and all I can remember is being a human. All I know how to do is be a human. Eventually, Oksana was transferred to a foster home for mentally disabled children and went through years of specialized therapy and education in an attempt to figure out her behavioral, social, and educational issues. There was very little documentation about her psychological state when she was found. So what is known about Oksana, aka the dog girl, has just been passed down by word of mouth through doctors and the people who cared for her. From the latest reports, Oksana is now 32 years old and she can communicate like a human. She doesn't bark or whine like a dog anymore. Currently, she works at a farm milking cows, but is still a little intellectually impaired. I could imagine years of living like a dog and now you have to be trained to be what you're supposed to be, a human, definitely would take a toll on your mind. A British child psychologist, Lynn Fry, who is also an expert on feral children, decided to go to Ukraine to see how well, if at all, Oksana integrated into society. Now, after a series of tests, Mrs. Fry found out that Oksana had a mental capacity of a 6-year-old child. She could count, but she couldn't add. She couldn't read or spell her name correctly. She had learning difficulties, but she was not autistic, as children raised by animals are sometimes assumed to be. So, how did she learn to speak at all? Well, according to experts, unless a child learns how to speak by the age of 5, the brain misses its chance to acquire language. But Oksana was able to learn to talk again because she still had some knowledge of speech before she was abandoned to the dogs. Although she somewhat knows the difference between what is socially acceptable, she still goes into the woods alone when she's upset, and she knows she shouldn't bark, but she can if she wants to. Dr. Fry says that Oksana seems to be happy looking after the cows on the farm, and she has since been reunited with her father. So as she continues to develop into a human being, we don't know how much further she can actually get. But it's going to be interesting to see as she continues to live her life. And that concludes this episode of FTD News in History. If this is your first time here, hit that subscribe button. You don't want to miss any of these videos. We cover topics from the most shocking, bizarre, and some of the most creepiest things that you will ever hear. As well as on this channel, we do daily news videos on the craziest things that are going on in the world. So there's a little bit of something here for everybody. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in another video. Hope you enjoyed this episode of The Dog Girl. If you want more stories about unbelievable women in the past, you can check out this episode on Elizabeth Bathory, or the Blood Countess. She's been dubbed the most evil woman in human history. You gotta check out that video to find out why. Or here's one of our shorter videos documenting the hairiest girl that you will ever see. You can find out more about her condition. You don't want to miss any of these videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.
Als zweites haben wir einen Bericht über Teenager, die sich für Werwölfe halten an einer Highschool. Schaut's euch an.
We've got 10 nights until the next full moon, but already there have been sightings of these creatures around San Antonio.
Yeah, those creatures are teen wolves, and as KENS 5's Joe Cog reports, they haunt our high schools.
School's out at John Marshall High, but this could be any school. And with any school come the cliques too. Cheerleaders, nerds, jocks, and goth. But lately, we've tailed another group on and off campus, literally.
We're not to be feared.
It's not emo and it's not goth. It's, well, more animal than that. Meet members of the Wolf Pack, one of several packs scattered about San Antonio's north side.
We're not a gang at all. Like, gangs are posers. They just want attention. That's why they go on tagging stuff. The pack, we're family. Like, we go to each other for our problems.
And yes, they sometimes meet under a full moon. That is, if mom and dad let them out of the house.
We're here. Yeah.
The fascination with werewolves dates back to the 1930s, with popular movies starring Lon Chaney Jr. More recently, movies like Van Helsing and the Twilight series have captured the attention of teenagers. They may not be mutating from man to wolf, but counselors warn these teens are experiencing transformations of their own, from childhood to adulthood.
Young people are looking to define their identities, sometimes to come together and affiliate around a theme or an idea, and just really to belong, that sense of belonging.
And a sense of belonging is just what this group says they're after.
You get friends, you get a place you belong. Yeah, you pretty much you're accepted to where you are, who you are, what you are.
Daykitten Wolfram Lupus is the unofficial leader of the pack at Brandeis High. He says he's got some wolf in him, howling sometimes to get out. We spotted the tails at a West Side mall doing what teenagers do.
We just hang out here. Like, we're just like another family. Like, this is our second home, basically.
And you couldn't help but notice the eyes and the fangs. It's a style, we're told, and nothing more.
We're not trying to be intimidating. We're not trying to be menacing or anything. We're just trying to live our daily lives and just hang out, you know? As teenagers, we just want to have fun.
They just kind of look at you weird sometimes or point, and you can tell they're kind of talking about you.
But attention they have received. One of the wolf pack, whom many consider the alpha dog, received some international acclaim when a neighbor's dog went missing, only to have its skull found in the possession of one 18-year-old Wolfie Blackheart. It created a firestorm on the internet. It was San Antonio's first glimpse into the world of these transformed teens. Northside officials confirm wolf packs do exist in at least half a dozen schools, with anywhere from 12 to 20 werewolves in each.
They walk down the hallways and meld into the fabric of the school and don't seem to be troublesome in the school environment. No.
Northside counselors say it's extreme expression. Day says it's something deeper than violating the school's dress code.
I don't believe anyone is just human. It's just everyone's got something else mixed in with them. Just they've got to actually look inside themselves and find out what it is.
Day's got his own leash he wears, and then there's the kind his mother keeps him tethered to. His family, his chores, his studies.
As soon as he walks in the door, he is supposed to take out the things, lose the lenses, and put his hair back.
Pam Manley says she's proud of her son.
They're good kids. And it takes some courage to stand up and be who you want to be and be able to express yourself in this way. If this is the worst that he does in high school, I'm blessed.
Als letztes haben wir einen ganz speziellen Fall, über den möchte ich eigentlich gar nicht zu viel verraten. Schaut es euch einfach an.
I've never been much of a cat person. That is until I learned about 45-year-old Dennis Avner of San Diego, California. Now he is totally obsessed with transforming himself into a tiger, and you have to admire his dedication and his fluffy orange tail.
My given name is Stalking Cat, as in sneak up. I can walk with very little or no noise. However, it takes quite a while.
Probably have seen things like this on television or in magazines like the National Geographic.
Dennis has lived in the back of Dave Daly's hardware store for the past 6 years.
Do you remember the first time I met you? You walked in the front door up there and you startled me a little bit. I didn't know what to expect.
And nobody's broken into the place since I've been here.
No, I haven't. That's what I want to catch. Somebody walking through that back room at 3 o'clock in the morning. The cat walks out and goes, ah!
I could sneak up on anyone. It's just one of those cat things.
Dennis began turning himself into a tiger 20 years ago. So far, undergoing 10 extreme body modification surgeries, which has cost him nearly $200,000.
It's literally been everything I could afford since I started. While I was still in the Navy, I started the tattooing. We started off with the eyebrow implants and the bridge implant here, the reshaping of my ears to give them a more cat-like appearance, cleft my lip, relocated my septum to change the profile of my nose, had silicone injected in Mexico in my upper lip and my cheeks and my chin, did the piercings for the whiskers, did the eyebrow implants for the whiskers up there. I'm going to eventually be putting transdermal implants somewhere around here so I can mount conventional type tiger ears. Haven't decided exactly how we're going to mount them yet. You know somebody who can do it?
Dennis never considered himself human. In Dennis's eyes, his transformation is only a formality.
Everything I see and do, I relate to as a cat. I'm told I purr in my sleep, so.
Black and orange stray cat sitting on a fence. Ain't got enough dough to pay the rent. I'm flat broke, but I don't care. I strut right by with my tail in the air.
And like most cats, he's of course a carnivore.
My diet is almost exclusively meat. The problem with that is going to a restaurant and getting it rare enough. Most restaurants have a problem with bringing out raw meat.
Well, let's put it this way. If the meat jumped on the grill and you slapped it in the butt, it goes scurrying off, that's it.
And how would you like it done?
As rare as I can get it.
Well, I'm thinking that maybe it's a good thing he didn't come in dressed as a pig, because then he'd be running right through that buffet like you wouldn't believe.
Catman will stop at nothing to make his outer tiger match his inner tiger. Currently, he's researching surgery that will allow him to walk on all fours.
I'll be happy with where I'm at and where things are going when I've reached the point to look like that.
That's up to him. In other words, I'd still accept him. I'd probably be scratching behind the ears then.
I probably would let Cat in my house, but I would definitely have to get a bigger litter box.
In the jungle, the mighty jungle, the lion sleeps tonight.
Don't you just want to pour him a warm saucer of milk and rub his belly? Or is it just me? I don't know. Well, we have traveled far and wide, and if there's one thing I've learned, it's this. Cats are people too. See you next time on Totally Obsessed. Ordinary people need not apply.
Das war's wieder für heute. Wenn euch das Video gefallen hat, lasst mir ein Abo da, Like oder Kommentar. Ansonsten macht's gut, bis zum nächsten Mal. Ciao, ciao.